touch, those summer nights where we came close to giving this a try. But no, we never found the perfect time or place. That doesn't mean we won't find it someday. You and my sweater in the pouring rain. I think I love you more than yesterday. Hold your breath, darling, swim to shore. I'll tread the water in that heart of yours. And when it storms, we'll sail right through the waves. I love you more than yesterday. I love you more than yesterday. Yesterday. Hold your breath, darling, swim to shore. I'll tread the water in that heart of yours. And when it storms, we'll sail right through the waves. I love you more than yesterday. This is the rhythm of the night, the night. Oh yeah. This is the rhythm of my life, oh yeah. This is the rhythm of the night, oh yeah. This is the rhythm of the night, oh yeah.
Person and our friends on Zoom. We have some guests, some almost licensed friends. Corey Joe back from having a baby. Oh, it's great. It's exciting. Ralph is new. I don't know if you've met everyone, so it's exciting. Chris is new, so it's great that a lot of you guys went to the last happy hour to meet each other. That's kind of what it's for. So, good morning, Donna. So, right after this, in honor of Seis de Mayo, we're having tacos in the parking lot, the taco truck. So we wanted to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but since all of you guys are here for the meeting, I thought it made more sense today. So it's fully hosted. All you do is just go out and get tacos. There's a bunch of different kinds, and there's drinks and things. Peter was gonna do margaritas. I thought it might be a little early. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see you in the parking lot after this.
That sounds like high school. See you in the parking lot.
See you in the parking lot. Does it, for those of you that were here during
Friday
COVID
afternoon.
days, doesn't that give you COVID flashbacks? We did we did lots of
We
food
used to call
trucks.
it FAC, Friday Afternoon Club.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Red Day is this week. So the office will be closed. Hopefully most of you guys will be at Red Day with us volunteering. We already ordered t-shirts. We ordered a couple extras, so it isn't too late if you still want to join us. But Red Day is the one day a year that every Keller Williams in the US and Canada closes so that we can volunteer within our communities. So like the staff will all be gone, the doors will be locked. And we're only even volunteering for half a day at the Oregon Food Bank. It is the Portland location. If you registered, you should have gotten an email with a lot of details. And then we'll go to Stormbreaker Brewing afterwards and celebrate our hard work. Then the luxury committee on the ALC has put together another awesome class. So, Veronica, do you want to talk about this or do you want me to talk? Okay. This is Veronica's listings, and it's in Happy Valley. And we've actually had, so every year, a lot of people go to this like new construction trends conference, right? And we've had Kerry Steinmetz from Fidelity present to us the last 2 years on his findings after he's gone to it. And it's kind of cool. It's like, you know, smaller spaces or bigger spaces. Or last year he told us that it was trending to have 2 master bedrooms because people wanted their space, right? Or connected master bedrooms. So it's always cool to hear what the new trends are. So that is going to be a CE class at Veronica's listing, right?
Yes. Awesome. The first day, like 30 people through the open house on Saturday, over 50, we just stopped counting on Sunday, so it's around 2.6. It's pretty great. Wow.
Awesome. It's in Happy Valley.
Come anytime starting at 11, right, for like broker tours, but the lunch and learn class will start at 1. And so it's a great opportunity to see this listing, and it's really good content. It's always great to hear from Carrie about this. So is there, Veronica, is there a registration, or do people just show up?
Do I need my,
Email Veronica if you want, if you're gonna.
do I need a hard hat and a chair?
No.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
And again, shout out to Barbara and Veronica, our luxury ALC committee, on putting together another cool thing. So then the next week we have our regular CE class that is brought to you by our very own Sean Varwick, who's an agent on Kemah Homes and part of Home Staging Northwest. So he's going to present on staging, Sean, you're in here now, and the value of staging, and how to communicate it to your clients, and some different things that they have to offer. So register for that. That's our regular lunch and learn next Wednesday here in the office at 11. And then also next week, we have the mobile car detailing brought to you by our wellness committee. So Whitney and Grace organized this. There are still some spots left. So 2 days here at Bridgeport, 1 day at Lake Oswego, and all you have to do is park your car in the parking lot and they'll do it. And it's $229 for SUVs and $209 for sedans. So fill those spots up and get your car cleaned while you work. And then contract mastery is also next week's a big week. Just got a lot going on. Contract mastery from Joe. If you haven't done 3 or written 3 buyer transactions, you should definitely go to this. And then even if you have, but you want to learn or you want to deep dive into the contracts, things that have changed, different addendums.
Yeah, we'll also talk about the contingent right to purchase. That seems to be a popular document that people want a little bit more clarity on.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's something else that you want to brush up on, shoot me a text or an email and we'll make sure we can incorporate that. We've got a lot of time that day, so I'd be more than happy to address any contracts, any paperwork you have frustrations with or need to define, and how they work into your business plan. So
Nice. And again, yeah, this is the once a month class that Joe just goes really deep on all the contracts, and lunch is provided. And then the following week, just a little heads up, we're doing headshots and happy hour. So a lot of you guys have already registered for spots. So this is where we bring in our photographer and pay for a couple headshots for anyone who wants one, just to kind of freshen up. And it's right here in this room, outside for good lighting. But you do have to have a spot. If it fills up, we can maybe add more. Let's just kind of see. I think there's still some spots available on there. And then save the date for the summer picnic. I know summer seems far away, but it's like gonna sneak up, and I know people are making plans. So just save the date, Friday, the 25th of July, and we're gonna do it at Tumwater again. And that is for the whole family, fun, lots of fun things. So more to come on that, but just for now, save the date. Okay, Cameron is gonna do our commercial.
Who wants to talk about leasing? All right, they doubled my time allotment this week. Week number 2 of 8, we're talking about leasing. Leasing is the most common referral that comes from residential to commercial. We will be focusing on tenant representation, not landlord representation today. And I'm going to try and keep it to 2 minutes. Tenant rep involves just representing the tenant. And most of the time you have a tenant rep broker and then a landlord rep broker. Sometimes you do both, but it's a little bit different than double ending, I think, on the sales side of a transaction. How valuation works. Also, these are the key categories. We're going to go through all the product divisions over the next 6 weeks. Okay, it's a little bit different, obviously, with leasing, but I'm still going to keep the same topic. So when you think about value, the lessee of the building or the multiple tenants of the building are what create commercial value on the sales side. So if you understand from the landlord standpoint how they're thinking about the lease, that's what gives you the leverage when representing a tenant. Oh, and then side note, we'll get a lot of questions. Commissions conversations are actually really easy. So it's just the monthly lease rate times 12 or the annual times the years of the lease. That gives you the lease value. And that's what you apply your commission percentage based off of. And there are so many variations to break that down per scenario, but that's the general rule of thumb. I'll give you 3 key terms and a concept. Lease comps, very similar. Net effective rent is really the key for a broker to figure out. You'll see all kinds of rates when you look on LoopNet and advertised everywhere, but figuring out what your net is the most important, and that's how you compare apples to apples. And then occupancy costs. So the total cost of it, which includes your triple nets. So again, understanding the types of leases to be able to know when to add certain costs, insurance, taxes, and when not to. And then how financing works within this asset class, kind of similar. It's not conventional. There is SBA, typo, Small Business Administration. That's very common, but they also have for specific types of tenants like dentists, they get practice solutions loans from larger banks and smaller banks because they're very specialized and everyone wants to loan to a dentist. And oftentimes they'll give them zero down loans. The other side of it is working from the landlord for financing. So sometimes the landlord will contribute TIs and sometimes they'll just give them to you up front. And there's a market rate calculation for that. Sometimes they'll amortize that over the term of the lease. So that's a landlord basically financing the ability for a tenant to get into the space. And then 4 categories here real quick: business needs, business space needs, location strategy, all of these obviously important. Size, if it's anything specific, we want to know that up front. And then budget timeline and lease objectives. So for the purposes of this conversation today, I'd say the 3 most important things is just trying to figure out what is it an existing business? If you're talking with somebody, what is their address? What is the name of their business, right? Very, very basic. Figuring out what size they're in or what size they're looking for, and generally the location. Those 3 are enough to get started for a conversation. And then from there, you can call me or someone at the commercial team and we can help you for a further follow-up conversation. But
Do you think
I got.
should be asking these questions?
You can,
themselves?
you
Okay.
can. I wanted to give you ideas of the, first 10 questions that we ask a tenant no matter what. So the more information we have here, the more prepared we can be going into a intro call that we get if you're trying to refer an interested party. But understanding if they are a tenant or a landlord, right? Are they trying to lease or have a lease space, have a space for lease? Or are they trying to buy or are they trying to sell? I mean, those are obviously very, very different categories. So that would be kind of the first. And then the second is, do you have an existing business? Where are you? How much are you trying to grow? That kind of stuff. Very, very simple questions, and that will help a lot. Sound good?
Awesome.
A little over 2
Does anyone
minutes.
have any questions? Yeah.
We'll host a separate, not during the weekly business meeting, where we actually go into detail on this stuff. So thank you.
Love it.
Appreciate
Thank you. Peter tried to sneak out. I was like, no, come here for a second. Do you know what today is?
Yes, it's Taco Tuesday.
It is Taco Tuesday. It's also Peter's to the day 20th anniversary of Halloween. Kelly, one of our other owners. So, Peter, congratulations.
Thank you. I have just one thing to say.
Okay.
Nobody accused me of being very aggressive.
Words of wisdom from Peter. And we got a chocolate truck just for you.
The fact that we're in business for that long is a tribute to our staff. And we have the best of them, probably in the United States.
And our agent.
Yes.
And then also just shout out to Patrick. There's what's going on in the inspections world?
Very busy.
Good.
Complaints. That's some commercial gigs that have been part of the building last week.
Cool.
Things are going good. Looking forward to the summer. I've done snowboarding and onto a paddleboarding. It's about all I'm thinking about right now.
All right. Well, we appreciate you always being here. And then Kylie and Azure, Homefront. Tell us about loans and mortgages and all the things.
Good morning, everyone. There's a lot of people here. The tacos bring the people. So glad to see everybody. Just a quick mortgage update. I have to also confirm that sentiment. Business is booming. I know we've had a lot of, sob stories, depression, business slow for the last few years in general, compared to where we had been in previous years, but we are not seeing that. So if you guys are not seeing that, you need to be seeing that. So make sure you're out there doing all the things. I think you guys are going to be able to really grow your business this year. I'm super excited to be working with all you guys. Call us if there's anything that we can do to help get more deals and offers accepted. Just update on notes or on rates. We have conventional at par 7.25. 2 points will get you to 6.2 or 6.625. FHA is 6.375 at par. 2 points will get you 5.875. There's always the 2 and 3 1 buy downs to get your rates 2 or 3 points lower than that on a step and tier. So please reach out to us if there's anything we can do. We still have some appraisal coupons, $500 off your clients. So if you have people that are already pre-approved, a second look from us doesn't hurt. We can see if we can get them a better deal, save them $500 off their appraisal, and try to make some magic happen for everybody. So hope you have a great week. See you at the taco cart.
Yes. Thank you. Now, we have a special. Miss Donna.
It's always
brought
good
some
to see you.
sheets.
Oh, I love it.
Can I do that?
Yes. Okay. So Donna Ellison is one of our amazing agents. She does a lot of business in Canby, but why don't you start by just, because we have a lot of newer faces or people that maybe don't see you or know you as well, tell a little bit
there's a lot
about
of
yourself,
faces.
your story, your team,
Trouble.
just like how long you've been in business, the big picture.
So I've been in business for a long time, not maybe as quite as long as Peter, but for a while. And my father was a realtor, so I grew up in the business of real estate. My parents were divorced, so when you have divorced parents, you spend the weekends with your dad. What does your realtor dad do on the weekends? Open houses and client showings. And so I kind of literally grew up in the business. And I actually didn't think I was going to get in the business for many years, but I did. And I started out as an assistant. I got to know kind of the way it worked. Back then we were with Equity Group, which is now Remax, of course. And I learned from some of what I would say some of the greats of our business have been. And just learned a lot about the business. Got my license, started selling, got married a Marine, had a baby. He was gone. I'm a single mom. This is really hard because I was actually busy and I was working with a lot of clients, both resi and some investors. And I was single momming, and it was just really hard because my clients would call and I just put her down for bed and was like, I can't do all this. And I know many people do it, but I couldn't, not as a single mom. My husband was not abroad, but he was down in San Diego. So I got out for a few years. I did some paperwork. Back then we didn't have TCs and assistants. That's kind of dating me a lot, but it was a new thing. And Equity Group wasn't they didn't embrace it very well. So it was kind of a push, but I ended up working for several realtors, again, learning so much, brochures, flyers, marketing, all of the different things. So it was really good exposure. Took several years off, raised my daughter, was a room mom, did all the things. She was a drummer. So went to all the drumline events and spent every weekend with kids and every night with kids and just had a great time doing it. And so when she got to high school, she was pretty busy. And so that's when it just felt like it was the right time to get back into real estate. And Mark Fox was a neighbor of mine, a friend of mine before he got into real estate. Watched him go through a couple of different things. And I went and talked to folks at Equity Group. And I called Mark and I said, hey, will you meet me for coffee? Because he was here. And we met for coffee, and he literally hands me the book and he's like, I love it there. And I'm like, tell me everything about KW, because KW wasn't a thing when I was in the first time. And I loved Mark's energy. I loved his attitude. I read the book cover to cover. I like the values of KW have always resonated with me 100%. And so I hung my license, I had to take the test again, only this time as a broker, but took that and hung my license here, and I haven't looked back. And I think I've been here now for like 13 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So started, I never wanted to build a team or be massive or huge. I like to work with my clients. I like to be in the street. I've never ever set out to be off production. I want to be with my clients. I brought several women into the business because I wanted to teach them the gift that I think real estate is, because all of you sitting in this room, you might hate it some days, but we love it or we wouldn't do this. And it allowed so much for me personally, for our family, for my husband as he was coming out of the military and starting business, which he's now become very successful in that. So it was a great way for us to pay our bills and do what we do. And so I just wanted to share that. And Liz is somebody that I used to work with when I wasn't working. I contracted for a while for a high-tech company as a recruiter, because that's what I did before real estate. And Liz and I worked together, and I loved her, and I just thought she would be so good at this. And then Hannah never expressed an interest in trying to be in real estate, which was totally fine. And then there were a couple other ladies that I knew, and it wasn't just ladies. I would have taken a man and trained him as well. But I wanted to teach them the way that I think real estate should be done, because I was taught by some really great people, and that was such a huge value for me. So I wanted to share that with other people and then send them on their way so they could go sell real estate. And Liz and Hannah, 8 years now, I think you guys have been with me. So Liz is my sister from another, and Hannah's my daughter. And it's great because we get to work together every single day. She came for a short period of time. We almost killed each other. She left for a short period of time, and she came back, and we figured out how to work together. And it's actually been really good ever since. So that's kind of the story of our team. About the third week of June, 8 years ago, we moved from Beaverton, which is where I grew up. My husband grew up in Lake Oswego. Hannah grew up obviously in Beaverton. Liz is in Beaverton. And we were just a little bit crazy, and we found this house that we absolutely loved in Canby. It's a ridiculous house, and it was a hard no for me the first time that we looked at it. And 6 months later, I went to look to see what the price on it was, and he had gotten pretty reasonable. It was actually a realtor selling his own house, gotten reasonable. So we had conversations, and we have been lovingly, I say, restoring this house for the last 8 years. It's a really cool house, and we love it. We had no idea how we were going to feel about Canby. I literally, like the week we moved, I'm like, what's wrong with us? Why do you just pick up and move from Beaverton to Canby? Well, traffic is one reason you do that, and country. I see horses every day, fields, we're surrounded by water. I mean, there's a lot of things to love about Canby, and I knew that. But living there, by Christmas of the first year, I was bawling at the Christmas. We had a light, the park has a big light, the night for Christmas. And I'm standing there crying because people are handing you hot chocolate, and they're like, Merry Christmas. And everybody's so happy and so friendly. And I was like, did we walk into another era? What is happening? We just fell in love. So we knew that Canby was going to be our forever. Our daughter and her wife bought their house. They live 5 houses away from us in Canby. And I don't think we'll ever leave, at least not vertical and breathing. So then it was, so moving there, which seems crazy, but when you sell real estate by referral, which I'm sure many of you do, you're so used to going everywhere. I literally cover from Salem to Vancouver. Liz is licensed in Washington. We go where our clients are. There's certainly a bulk of business in certain areas, Beaverton for a very long time, Tigard, Garden Home, all those areas. But you go to Gresham, you go to Portland, you go to any of the places. So for me, moving was never even a consideration about moving to Canby and still doing real estate. But once I got there and started falling in love with the community, and then we had the big fires where we were all at the Be Ready. And then we had the ice storms where we all tried to die because our trees were killing us. And you begin to see this community and how they come together and how much they love and support each other. And you want to give to that community. You want to give back. So I really started looking, and by that point I was beginning to make friends with all these people. You know, you eat at their restaurants, you shop at their shops, you get to know the owners, you get to know the people that are working hard to make it such a good place to live. And so then COVID hit, and that was actually, that portion was a true blessing because there was a lender partner of mine who was also in Canby. We got together and kind of brainstormed with our teams, and we did some events to support our local businesses that were literally hanging on by a thread during COVID. And so we were able to infuse with a little bit of money and a bunch of new clients that maybe are people from out of town that had never gone to these restaurants. And we did gift cards for the first 100 people, and we brought in, it was all outside, it was all spaced, socially distanced, all of that, but we brought music in, and we had some really great nights. And we did that with 3 of our restaurants in town. And that kind of started the role for me in what we do for the community. So I have always believed, and so does my team, that you do what your heart, that's why I do real estate. I love real estate. I love working with clients. So we started looking at what's something that we can get behind that we fully support as a team, that's not controversial, that's not going to upset somebody, that's not going to be political or any of those things. So and actually this is when Stephanie T-Walt was with us. She did some recon and she found Fido, and they're based out of Oregon City, which is Clackamas County, close to us. And Fido, which you probably heard me preach about Fido before, but they support animals, but they're really supporting the people. So any person who cannot afford to take care of their animal, whether it's a person who's houseless, a vet, an elderly person, I mean, the list goes on and on. A DV situation where somebody's escaping a bad scenario, Fido steps in and we feed their animals. We get them vet care. We don't take animals. We don't actually take the animals, although I have once or twice with the police department, but that's a different story. So we started working with the police department. We started working with fire. People have had fires. We had one last year where the barn, luckily the house did not burn down, but the whole barn burned down, and that's where all the food was for all of their animals. So Fido came in and dealt with that within 24 hours. It was still smoking when we were delivering food to them. So we do a lot of kind of weird stuff, but we don't actually handle the animals. We handle the people. And that was something that we felt really passionate about because we all love dogs. Fido's for all animals. We've also helped cows and buffalo and horses and goats and chickens and certainly lots of cats. But we all have dogs. We all love dogs. My daughter has some cats too. And so that was just a no-brainer for us. So we donate every check that we have. We donate to Fido. We donate annually. Every event we do, if I can make it a fundraiser for Fido, I do, so that we're, kind of always putting money in the pot. And then Hannah and I, yesterday was the day, we go once a month and we pack all the food for the Canby Adult Center. So they partner with Meals on Wheels. So if people are getting meals through the Canby Adult Center, they can get food for their pets, because we start finding out that these elderly people are giving their pets their own food because they can't afford to buy the cat or dog food, whatever it is. So Hannah and I go and we pack all the crates up, and then we take them to the adult center, and sometimes we deliver to individuals that can't make it, but we do that once a month. And what's been really cool is now a lot of the businesses that I partner with in Canby are coming to me. So we just did an adult Easter egg hunt, and the owner of the liquor store just called me and said, "Hey, you have to do this." And I said, I mean, I'm down. I drink. I'm willing. So I don't know what am I doing? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So we did this. She donated all of the liquor, and we just showed up and had our tent. It was a great event. And she handed a check to Fido for $900 because she said, "I don't know what to do with the money." And I said, "Well, you can make it a fundraiser for Fido. Let me just get that plug in there." And she's like, "Great, let's do it." And she handed her a check that day for $900. So what's cool is, because we've been doing this for a few years now, we've gained that reputation. And so people call us, people trust us. It was that easy. I said it. She said, "Yes, let's do it." $900. And Fido's hurting right now really bad. Some of the grants and some of the things that were happening aren't happening like they were. So at any chance that I get, I'm like, let's make it a fundraiser for Fido. And sometimes we give them $200. I mean, sometimes, but you know what? It adds up. It's a big deal. So we keep doing that. So everything I do or we do is, for the most part, some sort of fundraiser for Fido. So community events, which I think is what I'm supposed to talk about, we do.
Everything community. Wait, now I want to chime in. We wanted you to talk about this. It's funny because I'm going to write down questions. I might want to ask. I don't need any questions. But you do such a good job of embedding yourself in your community and giving back to your community. And since Red Day is on Thursday, that's why we have to have Donna. Not to talk about Fido. Obviously, Fido is a huge part of it, but just also you give back so much in your community overall. And that's something that a lot of you guys could emulate in different communities, even in your neighborhoods, different micro communities, like school systems and things like that, right, where your kids go. But it's really inspirational to see what you've done to just be so known as a good person.
Well, I think the thing that you do is, because I was thinking about this, and I think about it every time that you've asked me to talk about it. I'm going to stand just because I've been trying to work out. My legs are killing me right now. So I'm just going to stand. They're shaking. I'm not shaking. My legs are shaking. What I think works, because and I've said this before, you've all heard me talk before, it's super easy in a community like Canby because it's small, it's intimate. You do kind of know everybody, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. So it's easier because being in Beaverton, I was part of Chamber, I was part of other things. It's so much easier in a small community, but it can be done anywhere. And I think the key to doing it anywhere is following what you are passionate about. So when I brought my cheat sheet because we just published this. We have the community magazine. You guys have these everywhere. This one's for Canby. And this was another layering piece. So 2 points I wanted to make is you can do this anywhere. layering is the key, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then follow the stuff that you love. So when we look at this and we talk about this, first Thursday, we do that every first Thursday in Canby, which is the funny joke because everybody always says, when is it? First Thursday. But when though? First Thursday. Always the first Thursday. So I want to get paid for saying that. If it's a quarter, I'd be happy just every time I say it. But we have, when we started it 2.5 years ago, we had, 10 people, 5 people, all the brownstones and the businesses were like, I don't know if this is worth staying open till 8 o'clock at night. And now, I mean, we just did it because it was the first Thursday. And I mean, we have hundreds of people out there, and all of our retailers are doing better. All of our restaurants are doing better. We have tons of street vendors out there now. It's kind of like a Saturday market on steroids, but it's really built into something that is supporting all of our businesses and all of our community. And we used to set up, you remember this, we used to set up our big tent and go out there and be realtors with our business cards and free swag. And we tried booze for a while, and that was really popular. We were with probably the most popular tent on the street, but I didn't know how long I would go before I got in trouble. So we decided to stop doing booze. And I said, we're not going to do that because we do it in January. We do it in February. We do it in freezing cold December. So I went to the city who I have a relationship with and said, how about if you had somebody on the street directing people? Because we are starting to get so many people coming in from all these different areas, and they don't know where they're going. And they do a scavenger hunt for kids and adults, and there's great prizes. And so a lot of people are walking around going, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. So we're the street team. So we don't set anything up. We just show up. City got us our own little vests. It's really cute. They're not bright orange or anything. And we just kind of help people. And we talk to people, and we check on the stores, and we talk to the owners, and we do a little shopping. We usually have a beverage. Like, we have a great time, but we spend our time maximizing. There's a realtor that is not from town that sets up a tent, and I always feel kind of bad because it just looks boring. It's kind of basic, I'm just going to say. So we just kind of took something that was okay, and we just, I think, improved on it, both for the city and the community, but for ourselves, because we have a good time doing it. And it is a much bigger impact in terms of the people that we're talking to and we're meeting. We are a sponsor for Hairfest. If you haven't heard about it, you should. I'm old and I love rock and roll. So for me, it's like the greatest 3 days of the year. But we became a sponsor the first year that they had party tents. And so for me, it is one of our largest client events that we do. And I think I have clients that would not use me again if I quit inviting them to Hairfest because these people rock on for 3 days and it's insane. And it's always so hot and so ridiculous. And you're just exhausted by the time we get through with it. But we have a lot of fun with these people. And so it's kind of diversity. We also sponsor the rodeo. We love horses. We used to be in horses. So that's just a soft spot for me. But we sponsor the rodeo and we're able to send our clients to that. So we do all of the things that we do are sponsoring and supporting financially our community. But I can pick my clients based on their, I have terrible hand usage, don't I? Based on their, some people love rodeo, some people love Hairfest. Then I've got that group of clients that I'm taking up to Domain Serene to sit down and have a nice wine dinner or whatever lunch with them because that's not their scene. I used to do a big event actually at my house and have a band and catering, and we did that, and I was trying to bring all the people in, and I just realized I had a lot of people. We had a pretty good response to it, but it was like I can't even get to all the people, and some people love this and some people hate this. So it was really over the course of the last several years kind of just figuring out what are the things we love, what are the things we're passionate about, if we're going to spend our time doing it, because it is a lot of time. It's also a financial investment for me, but that's where I spend my marketing dollars. I don't spend my marketing dollars on anything else. And that business has come back to me over and over and over again. And I have so many, we have a lot of really good realtors in Canby. I mean, really good realtors. And I'm always surprised when I get the phone call from somebody and I'm like, I'm so honored that you chose me. Thank you. And they will make a comment about, I saw you digging that dirt on whatever street doing the thing. And like, there's something about being really authentic with people and just showing up and doing the work side by side with them. And I think that you do that when you're passionate about it. So wherever you are, you can do those things, whatever that is. And I know so many of you already have this nailed, but when it comes to the community, I think if you pair it with the stuff that you love, you have a really good response and people just see that. I'm never just out there saying, can I have your business? I'm just working with them and they are calling me and they know me. So the layering part, which I think is really important, the gentleman who owns this, you what?
I want to stop for a second to reiterate
Okay.
things she said. So you love these things, right? You're not, if you hate the rodeo, don't sponsor a rodeo.
Right. Don't do
right?
that.
So find the things that you love doing.
Yes.
And I love how you said when you started out doing the booth, the official, like I'm in real estate booth, and that you found it way more effective to just be natural
With the people.
and authentic.
And they don't know we're realtors.
Okay.
They think we work for the city of Camden
How do they learn that you're
by talking to them.
okay?
We're good at talking. And over time they begin to, I had a lady walk up to me the other night, literally walk up to me. She grabbed my hands and she was this older lady, so sweet. And I'm just like, who are you? And she goes, I know who you are. And I said, you do? And she said, you're Donna Ellison, Ellison Team Homes. And I said, you're my hype girl. Like, thank you. And she goes, no, it's the hats. You have to always wear your hats. And I see you in the magazine and I see you around the community. And I think you're the best realtor. She knows nothing about me, but she thinks that because we're doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad.
It reminds me of the layering. It reminds me of remember when Emil was here from Luxury Home Magazine and he talked about trying to give the like appearance that you're everywhere, but you're really just everywhere that your certain group of people are seeing, right? So it's that same thing. Donna is everywhere within her community, but she's not everywhere in Beaverton now and
Right.
all over the place because that would be impossible.
It
So
is.
just being everywhere in your bubble.
Right. And I decided to focus on Canby, obviously, because I live there. It's a lot easier to drive 4 blocks to a listing appointment than it is 40 minutes. But I still take care of all my clients that are all over Portland Metro. And so I still do a lot of driving. And those are the clients that I take to those more individualized, like we celebrate in different ways, or I go to the birthday parties of their children, or I'm making sure to take care of those people. But and some of them come to Hair Fest and some come to rodeo, but they're a little bit more broken out. We also do, and have been doing for years, Bunko, because people, what?
We won't let me come to this.
I said you should come.
You told me I couldn't.
I did not tell you that.
Very disappointing.
I love you so much. You make me laugh every time
You can come to Bunko. So again, just like training women, men can come to Bunko. They just don't. No men come.
And your bunko is legendary. I met someone at like a bar one night and she was like, oh yeah, Donna Ellison, oh yeah, I go to her bunko. I was like, all right. It was just funny. We were just talking about stuff. So they're legendary.
We just do a lot of different things that impact the clients where they are. So that's part of it. But the other part, I love games. It's fun. I never play anymore. I'm usually walking around refilling beverages and doing all that, but it's fun. And we do it. We used to try to do it once a month. Then we went to every other month. Now we do it quarterly, which is really only 3 quarters out of the year because we don't do it at Christmas. But FOMO is a real thing. Then everybody thinks they're not on the invite anymore. Certain people in this room. No, we just haven't done one for a while because I am getting too old for my life and I need to rest sometimes. And we do so many events and so many things and I actually do sell real estate. So we kind of backed off a few of the things and we really have focused on the things that seem to work and that seem to really bring joy. When people are reaching out to me right now about rodeo or Hair Fest, we know we're getting that right. And those people aren't thinking about calling another realtor because we've established that relationship and we've identified that we resonate. It's not just real estate that we resonate together on. It's a personal thing that we do that we enjoy together. So layering, I'm going to be really quick because I just know I'm done with time.
No.
Okay, I'm going to talk forever. Welcome. Go get your tacos. Come back.
No.
It's one of the reasons I always feel bad I'm not here as much as I would like to be because we do so much and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But so Matt, the gentleman who owns the magazine, it's Canby Advantage, it's Beaverton Advantage, Hillsborough Advantage. He owns them all over. And he and I went to high school together and we ran into each other at a chamber meeting about 2 years ago. And he said, you need to be in the magazine. I said, I don't want to be in a magazine. I don't like social media either. So all that stuff makes me crazy. And he's like, you need to do it. And I said, okay, all right, let's talk about it. So we had a meeting. I did it. The layering is everything. I've got a social media person who's been doing my social media for quite some time. She does a great job. She's at a lot of the events with us. So she's taking photographs for me and she's posting. Then we have the Canby magazine. So we have an article every month. This one's talking about all of our events that are coming up. I don't like, just personal choice. I don't like when we self-promote with, look at what we sold, the last 10 homes that we sold. I don't think people really care, honestly, unless it's their house and then they're really excited to see it. But the rest of the people don't care. So we started telling stories, and always with our client's permission. But we do a picture or two and we tell the story of our client. And this was a first time home buyer. So it was a really cool story. And some of the stories are a little bit sad even, but we tell the stories of the actual homes that we sell in the magazine. And then we
So it's the people, not
the people, not the house. And then this one we always promote Fido. And we do that with we promote our photographer, we promote our home inspector, like the people that are keeping us alive. We take an opportunity once a year to support them and promote them as well. And especially in this last couple of years, because things have been harder for home inspectors and lenders and all the different people. So if we can help promote them, we do. So it's a great way to do it. But we've got the social media, we've got the magazine, we've got the actual events that people literally find us at. And I think that has been it kind of feels like it's hit a sweet spot where people are calling, people are buying homes with us, people want to sell their homes with us, and they wouldn't call somebody else.
Do you do any kind of like mail or like newsletter or anything? It's all okay. Just curious.
No, I don't. I have been anti-drip since I got into the business because it just sounds gross to me. I don't want to drip on people. I don't want to do it. No, we literally are hands-on or text on or email on with everybody.
Okay, I like that. And then have you found that it works better to do the same events
Yes.
each year? Because
Yes.
people look forward to it.
Yes. We kind of started with different, like I said, different things, and we pared back how often we were doing bunco because it was just too much for me to do. And then I looked at my budget and said, okay, we're going to do. And we actually cut one this year we were involved with the Canby Community Preschool, a lender partner, and I actually built their new house for their playground, which was supposed to be this little tiny project that turned into a reno. It was a whole summer we spent on that house, but we did it. And there's another realtor who's got kids in the school. She's in our office. I'm a mentor to her. It makes so much sense for her to be there. And I don't feel like it's a place that is authentic for me. So I stepped back and said, we're not going to do this event anymore. Not because I didn't love it. And the people were great. And I actually sold 2 houses off the first one we did. It was a good experience. But to me, it just didn't feel authentic when there's a realtor who's a mom at the school, who's involved with the school, who's got kids, and she's good at what she does. So sometimes we just kind of pare back a little bit. I cut the chamber golf tournament this year because it just doesn't feel like a good spin to me. For what we're able to get from that, it didn't feel like a good spin. So every year I look at, we're going to spend this money. This is no-brainer stuff. Like I said, if I ever don't do Hair Fest, I'm going to have to leave the state. But the other stuff every year we look at, and I feel like we've got a pretty good core of what we're doing now.
Yeah, I like that. What about let's talk more about bunco because that's kind of something, or any kind of game night, because it's not really about.
Have you all played bunco?
It's about getting.
Stop it!
Kevin, you're
going to
start
be
the
my star at the
bunco.
next one. In fact, you're going to host it. You're going to host it with me. It's happening.
You're just inviting. Okay, so who are you inviting?
Clients.
Oh, okay. And is it all
and partners?
Okay, Pat. So it's just a way of connecting with
Yes.
people in like a natural way.
Yeah, it started out as just clients, and then we started inviting the ones we work with the most, which was a little bit awkward when they all showed up at the same one. You're like, hi, you know each other. Hi, yeah, we all work together. We did partner for a long time with the lender, and that worked out really well. But then the lender partner wasn't able to show up very much, and so like we had co-branded things because we had like dice during COVID. Everybody got their own dice, so they weren't commingling and touching and all that. You guys, it's gonna hit you. No, if you need to, if you catch it, I'll be so impressed. So we did, the one lesson that I've learned over the last couple of years is even though we have partners that we're going to promote and talk about in social media, I don't co-brand with my partners anymore because it's not because they're doing anything wrong. It's just because they don't necessarily show up at the same level that we do. And I don't want to expect that from them. I don't want to demand that from them. I don't think that's fair.
That's good. And okay, so you mentioned that you spend money on certain things, but if you are just getting started in your community, you could do things that don't cost
100% volunteer.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, a lot of this is just volunteer. It's time. A lot of this is time and just effort and showing up.
But it's your lead gen time, right? That's how you're getting. Does anyone have any questions for Donna? I could keep going, but I wanted to turn it over. Who is feeling inspired to feel
so many new faces?
What is your What is your spend? Like,
It's reasonably not crazy. My big spend is a hair fest.
oh,
It's-
that's
it's-
good, sorry.
That's my, so the hair fest is, but we have a tent, and we have a lot of food, we have access to, we don't have to wait in line for it, it gets delivered to us. So a lot of benefits, and you get some shade, which is really a big deal when you're out there for 3 days in a row. So that's a pretty big spend. The rodeo for me is not that big of a spend. And I really lucked out on that one because the first year I moved to Canby, we had the very first rodeo I ever went to when we got into horses was Canby Rodeo, way before we ever lived there. Hi, Sean. Good to see you. And I just had a heart for it. So I called. My husband had sponsored at St. Paul for years, was one of their major sponsors, and we love St. Paul. But it felt weird to not be taking care of my own community. I mean, we live 7 blocks from the Clackamas County Fairgrounds, so it just seemed weird to not support locally. So I called. It was at the tail end of their marketing season. And at the time, Cowboy Lyle, who was running it, said, "I don't have anything left for you, honey." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, can you put me on the list for next year?" He goes, "Let me call you back." So he calls me back and he goes, "I got this wild idea. You're not going to understand it, but trust me, I think this is going to be the best spot." And I'm like, "Well, what does that mean?" So for $3,500, he put me on our sign, our brand is on, it's on the speaker in the center of the arena. So it's on the Cowboy Channel. It's in every single photo of every single princess that's anything that gets shot in that arena. Sean knows. Ellison Team Homes is in that I literally was like, this is the best thing that ever happened. I have so many people texting me, my clients always texting me. They put it in such a good spot. So then I went to him after the first year and I'm like, "Listen, what do I have to pay? Do I sign in blood? Do you want Hannah? Because I need this for the rest of my like what's because I've had people say I might show up dead." So like it's a great spot, but I didn't even ask for it. It just happened. And then I locked into it. So then we upgraded kind of the sign so it showed better. And we did a couple other things, but until I die, it's mine. Nobody gets it. Same with Hairfest. Yes. My life has been threatened many times.
Anything that you do, does Hairfest, do you co-brand anything like? with
So
any
we
vendors?
all we get our stuff out there, but we're not co-branding with Hairfest. We're just advertised. We did one year. A few years ago, we sponsored the first night, which is a kind of a quiet, mellow night, acoustic for the most part. And we sponsored that night and we had a great time. We invited a ton of clients. I don't think everybody fully understood. They did a shout out. My daughter plays drums. She got up on the stage and played drums. Like we had a great time. I don't know that it was a huge benefit other than it was just really fun. And all the people that were there with us had a great time. But I don't know that the rest of the crowd fully understood. I didn't feel like that was really the bang for the buck, but it was a great time. And it was supporting Hairfest, which I'm all about.
Donna, you do a really good job of continuously evaluating the ROI on what you're spending money on, right?
I have to.
Yeah, and even the way you're doing your sponsorships and what sponsorships are having a return. So I think that that's really important because it's easy to go out and say, "Okay, I'm going to sponsor all these things in my community," but like, do you know which ones are actually producing the value and producing the opportunities to have those good conversations? Is that why, like, if I was at the golf tournament, I sponsored a golf tournament before, and I feel like, oh, you don't really get to talk to people,
Right.
as
They
much,
just
right?
want what you have at and we've made friends with all of them. It's mostly men for the most part. Yeah. Yeah. And we've had we did alcohol for a couple of years and we were super popular. We won awards and we had a blast. It was great. And then we weren't allowed to do that. So then once you've done it, everybody's like, "Where's your booze?" And I'm like, "We're not allowed to do it." And they're like, "No, but where's your booze?" We're not allowed to do it. And so then everybody's mad at us because we're obeying the rules and trying to be well behaved. And then I just don't feel like it's a good spend. It went up this year. It's a great day. I'd rather golf it, honestly, than be sitting at the table because we get 30 seconds, 2 minutes, maybe with the people come and we know these people already. So it's a layer, but I don't think it's one that we're gonna miss.
Right.
So we'll see. I might go back next year. We'll see.
Cool. Wait, Ashley, do you have a question?
Curious to know if you have a challenge tracking your ROI because you're ingratiated in so many things, like, how do you know?
I don't. So I'm super old school in how I keep track of it.
How much? I just use my phone and my computer and I know my clients really well. So most of my clients at this point are repeat clients. The ones in Canby, some of them now are repeat clients, some of them aren't. Like I said, when I got a phone call 2 weeks ago that I literally said, I know you know so many good realtors. I was so touched that she called me. I really appreciated that. And then she told me all the reasons why she did call me, and I even appreciate it more. She could have called 8 other realtors and I would have felt like she had a great realtor. We've got a lot of good people in Canby. But for me, I know where I've been with them. I know what I've invited them to. I know what I've spent on them ish. And so I'm very easily able to track. And if we as a team are doing 1 or 2 transactions a year off of these events, they're more than paying for themselves. And that's building and building and building now. So to me, we've kind of hit the sweet spot of we know what we're doing, we know what we're not going to do.
That's a really good question, Patrick, though, because if you are just kind of getting started out building in your community, you might want to track where you're meeting more people. And so as you put them in your database, if you use Command or whatever, use your CRM, putting like, chamber or farmer's market or whatever.
I do track it.
So
No,
because
we
she
know,
knows,
we
but
know.
if you didn't, you should.
Again, it's pretty diverse. The clients that I invite to the various events are pretty, like, I know my clients. So I invite the ones that I know are going to dig rodeo to the rodeo. Or sometimes it's a vendor. I want to say thank you. I also take my vendors out and celebrate with them. Sean knows that. He's done some great staging over the years. Took he and his team out and said thank you to happy hour. I try to celebrate my vendors as well. So I put them in the same, and my vendors actually have used me for real estate. My escrow officers have actually used me for real estate. So that's where it crosses over, and they're my partners, but they're also my clients or our clients. So, but I do track it. It's tracked.
But if you don't have it all up there, you might need to do it up.
Yeah. Well, and we're starting to track it a little bit differently because at some point Hannah will take the reins, and let's face it, Mama's getting older. So it's going to start slipping a little bit. So I'm going to have to track it a little bit better. But we know, I could tell you the minute a phone call happens, exactly why it happened.
You're after an event, maybe like a wave of people after the rodeo, and after the sort of that.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. And then you call it event season. Coming into the season, that's when I start getting a text. Hey, are you doing Hairfest this year? Hey, are you doing? So, I mean, I don't have to keep track. They're keeping track for me. So then I know my last contact was, this is definitely somebody I'm bringing into Hairfest. This is definitely somebody I'm bringing over to rodeo, because they're letting me know what they care about. If I didn't know.
Liz, do you want to add anything?
Oh my goodness, no, Donna's Liz
Is right there with me. And Hannah is too. She is working today, but she is. I mean, we all must have moved.
Yeah.
Trust me, we do some hard labor getting some of this stuff done.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that you're doing all these touches and these conversations and you're volunteering. You're actually doing it, right? You're not, like you said, don't do any drip. There's no shortcut on your time and actually giving back.
But it also is easy, as you know, when you're, like I started with, if you love what you're doing, it's easy because I love the people. We have such a good community. I love the people. I love seeing the other people that are in my business out there. I want to support them. Like I said, we've got so many good people, both in realtors and partners. I don't mind. I mean, I get tired. Last Thursday, at First Thursday, it was hot and I hit a wall. I had to tap out. There are moments where you're like, I do not want to be doing this right now, but there's 3 of us, so we can usually pull it off if one of us is having that moment. And also it's pretty forgiving. Your clients are focused on the thing they're there for. So if you're not on point 100%, nobody's really mad at you. Yeah. She gets it a lot. Yeah, she gets it. She gets it.
Last question for Donna before we wrap. Donna, there's so many good insights. Hopefully a lot of you guys are motivated to build something within your community, whether it's like a mini community, right, around your kid's school or your neighborhood. If you live in larger areas.
I think that's a ticket.
Yeah.
I think if you are in the ticket, find the thing you love and focus on that. We've talked about that. You are very well known for cars and your love for car. Like that is like this minute I see the car, I already know whose listing it is. You've made that for yourself. I've seen a lot of you doing those types of things. And so you guys don't need me to tell you how to do it. It's just what works for me. If you are interested in doing it and feel like it's hard because you're in a bigger community, call me. I'll try to give you some thoughts on how you might be able to do it, because I do think it could be done in bigger communities. You just have to pull the community in a little bit for yourself.
I love that. Because you said did you try to do this in Beaverton when you were in there with like and was it just too much?
We did a ton of client events back then, but we weren't doing, and I was involved with chamber, but the chamber's so big. I mean, at our chamber, we pretty much know everybody in the room, over give or take. It is so much easier in a small town, although Canby's getting pretty big.
Yeah.
But it is easier that way. But you can still, if you love your kid's school, if you love your race car, whatever, golf, whatever it is, that's where I would focus my time. If I was a golfer, I'd be focusing all my money, all my support, all my effort into that golf club, that golf community.
Association, or, you know, just some small part of where you're focused. It's so much easier to do real estate a block away. Because I'm doing it everywhere right.
I'm going out to Northwest Portland. I'm like, I like Canby. It's
Right.
great. You guys, I apologize for being late too. There were 20 police officers on I-5 pulling people over. I don't know if anybody else caught it, but I was just going 55 miles an hour. Like they were everywhere, pulling people over like crazy. So when you leave, just bear that in mind.
Careful. Yes.
Yeah.
So many good things. You're so inspirational, and I love hearing about how you love your community and you love what you do, and you're really part of it. Thank you for being here. Round of applause for Donna. Hopefully everyone found some tacos. Beautiful day in the parking lot. So we'll see you out there.